Hello once again, everyone. Original Blood Ace back with another video. And now, first of all, I know there's a whole bunch of other stuff that I should do videos talking about, and we'll probably get around to that eventually. First of all, I guess I should say though, I'm still not 100%. You might be able to tell in my voice. Might fucking start coughing randomly in the video. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. If this is gonna be the first discussion video in quite some time, it's an OBA discussion. We're talking NX, a bunch of different stuff. First of all, we'll go over that. I've heard the news like, oh, Nintendo's distributed the some dev kits for it, yada yada. I don't personally care all that much. And then there's the whole somewhat rumor, somewhat maybe true, whatever, Wall Street thing about people saying, uh, oh, it's stronger than the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. And then there's the rumors, supposedly, or the people saying the NX is a home console. It's a handheld. It has a controller for the handheld and the home console. All this weird shit. I'm not going to dive too much into this because this is already going to be a long discussion video. So go get some popcorn and a drink, sit down, get comfy, and let's do this. Now, it's probably going to sound like to some people, by the time I'm done this video, that it's like, oh, he's defending Nintendo, or maybe he's a Nintendo fanboy. No. Nope. Nope. I'm just going to do what I always do and speak my mind. Interpret it however you fucking want. But I'm just going to say how I personally feel about said topics. So, where do we begin? Let's start with this supposed it's stronger than PS4, Xbox One. First of all, every time a new console is coming out, a new home console, or a new handheld if you want to compare to the former handheld, it's always stronger than the last. Why must people make a big deal about this every goddamn time? No company, whether it's Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Ouya, whatever. Well, not Ouya, but, Amazon or whoever the fuck made the Ouya, I don't even remember. No company is going to make a console and then say, hey, guess what? It's weaker than before, than the last system. That just doesn't fucking happen. There's probably going to be a lot of stuff in this video, actually, now that I think about it, that I've said before in previous videos over time, but whatever. I'll say it again. So, it being stronger, home console-wise, I still think there'll probably be an NX handheld and an NX home console. But the NX home console, no shit, it would be stronger than PS4, Xbox One. Would it be exponentially stronger? No, probably not. Probably not. To be brutally honest, it will probably be maybe 50% stronger. Now, what people are, saying is like, oh, if NX home console comes out, it'll be stronger than PS4. It'll get all the third-party support. I'm probably going to dive deep into this later, the third-party support debate. But do you really think that's going to happen? The Wii U lacking power? That's not the reason the fucking third parties are not doing games. No, it's not. But we'll get into that later. As for the whole other bits where, oh, it's a handheld, it's a home console, it's a controller that goes with both, whatever. I don't really want to dive into that until Nintendo themselves states anything specifically, probably in XD3. I don't really care for rumors. So, anyway, next point was I came across a video I'd watched. It was uploaded a little while ago, and I've seen these guys' videos before. It's like, I forget what the actual channel is. It's like WatchMojo or something. They do like top 10 for movies and stuff like that. All these random top 10 video type things. I saw they did one where it was the top 10 things Nintendo should do for the NX. And while very minute on their list, like one or two things I agreed with, all the rest was just fucking pointless dribble spat out of the mouth of someone who doesn't fucking know what the fuck they're talking about. Which is nothing new when you think about it. So I'm going to go down their top 10 list, each point, one at a time. And I'm going to break it down. I'm going to talk about my personal opinion on it, whether I agree or disagree with it, so forth. So, first, Number 10, they said, ditch the Wii brand. Now, let's not be shocked. I agree. Surprise, surprise, I fully agree. There's no point to continue using the word Wii. There just isn't. We don't even need to waste time talking about that. Now, from point 9 to like 2 or something, or 1 or whatever, I can't even remember. I just disagree with pretty much all of these. So, point number 9, make a normal controller, because it's the standard. Basically, they stated the Xbox controller is basically the standard controller nowadays. Do you know who you sound like? Make a standard controller. Make a normal controller. Newsflash, Gamepad does everything a normal controller does, plus more. So, by saying make a normal controller, you're saying, hey, give us a controller that's in a different shape and does less features. Do you really think things through? You're saying we want to give you money if you give us less. Are these the consumers a company should be listening to? Well, maybe if you're Activision with Call of Duty, ooh, shots fired, bang bang. But I don't understand. Maybe I'm not a normal person by any stretch of the means. I, in multiple ways, am just different. I don't follow the trends, that type of thing. It's just, I don't know. I like to think I have common sense. Some people say, "Oh, you're smart." It's like I don't, I'm not insulting myself, but I'm like, nah, I just have common sense. To me, when a new console comes out, it comes with a new controller. Now, people are going to say the whole, we don't want a gimmick. The point of a gimmick is to get you interested and to differentiate, or how do you pronounce this word? Differentiate between it and the last system. Look at fucking phones. There's always some minute difference that's the, quote, gimmick that gets people to fucking buy them. So, when it comes to a normal controller, I'm fine if they want to continue doing like, a pro controller type thing for those people. And they can even include it with the box too, like having the, NX controller, quote, and the pro controller, quote. But if you're going to do just a default controller that's similar to the Xbox, what's the bloody point? To me personally, again, don't feel like you can't have your own opinion. If you do, fine, that's your business, whatever. I'm just expressing mine like I always do. For me, if I'm in the market for a new console and I'm looking for something that catches my eye, and it's like, oh, that's new, that's something crazy, that's wacky, I want to buy a whole new product, not half a product. When you buy a console that's like, oh, it's just stronger, and it has the same controller you used before, well, why are you paying for another controller if you could just basically use your last controller? Huh? And their whole minor changes are, ooh, we added a little bit more grip to the thumbstick. I mean, really, really now. That is just, you're paying for the same thing over and over again. Do you not realize that, people? So, I'm not saying make a bad controller. I'm not saying Nintendo should make some weird fucking boomerang-shaped controller where, I don't know, you have to throw it in the air and it comes back and you have to catch it and, I don't know, some weird fucking shit. I'm saying you sound like Atari, who said controllers, or like controls for a game, it's just one button and one stick, that's all you need, never need anything more. And what happened to them? I've said this in previous videos. That's right, Atari is not around anymore because they didn't believe in change. They didn't believe in innovation. They're like, everything that needs to be invented or whatever has been invented. That type of mindset. So, point being for me, I want to buy a new console that comes with a new controller, as long as the controller and the console both interest me. I'm not one of those people where it's like, oh, the console's super powerful, but that controller just, oh, that's too gimmicky for me, not buying it. It's like, that's not how I think. So, that's enough talk on the controller. Point number 8. Virtual reality controller attachment. Are you serious? You want a place to be able to plug an Oculus Rift into the NX. So let that sink in for a second. Really? You want the next big fad, which is, I'm sorry to say, I don't care if you are super stoked for virtual reality. That's fine if you are. But if you don't think that VR is the next fad, You're crazy. VR won't last, probably more than 10 years. At most 10 years. And that would be pushing it. I say 7-ish years. It's the next fucking fad like iPads and smartphone gaming. Casuals will go there. Now, sure, maybe that will get some on the NX. Casuals to buy the NX. Maybe, maybe. But when has Nintendo ever had some other random company make their own controller for their system? Now, granted, you can get what is it? Wii remotes made by some other company, but they're still Wii remotes. They're not some different, completely unique, different controller. So, don't see that happening. Um, Number 7. Oh, and also one quick thing with the virtual reality thing. What happens if halfway through the NX's life, poof, VR support is just gone? Casuals don't care anymore. Well, then you invested the money into that, which now it's part of your system and it doesn't do anything because no one gives a shit anymore. So anyway, let's move on to number 7. This is kind of a weird one. They want Nintendo to ease up on Let's Play rules. I'm not really sure what that has to do with the NX itself. Maybe like, NX games you can play. Oh, we're perfectly fine with that, which would be fucking weird. So, that's a bit of a debate for another time, but let's squeeze it in here because it's part of that Mojo video. So, ease up on Let's Plays. I've talked about this in the past. I've seen both sides of the fence here. I understand Nintendo's side and I understand the YouTuber side. Honestly, would I love Nintendo to be like, oh yeah, we don't mind? Yeah, but I think it's unrealistic to think Nintendo was just going to simply allow it all of a sudden. Granted, Kimishima, I believe that's his name, the new president, could have that mindset and he'd be like, oh, I don't have a problem with it. If he does do that, fine, that's great, fantastic. If he doesn't, whatever, I don't really care. So, either way, doesn't really affect the NX, at least unless you're talking the NX games being allowed to be Let's Played. Point number 6. A bigger, dedicated hard drive. Because, as they say in the video, PlayStation and Xbox have 500 gigabytes, which eventually is going to run out. And they said that the Nintendo NX should have at least a 1 terabyte hard drive. Well, you see, the issue there is, with PlayStation 4, since I have one, so I know what I'm talking about here, and Xbox One, you have to install every goddamn game. Whether it's digital, whether it's physical. With Wii U, you do not do that. With 3DS, you do not do that. And they also mentioned on Mojo because video game file sizes are about, 50 to 60 gigabytes. You know why? Because not all third-party companies, or even first-party for that matter, compress their games. It doesn't really... The main... What's the word to phrase this? The main reason or benefit to compressing a game is literally just to save space. But most of the time, it doesn't run the game any better. It's just, it's smaller file size. You can put more stuff on there. So either way, Nintendo with a dedicated hard drive. I could see them doing it. Like, it would be kind of in the oh wow, I didn't really think they would be doing it type, mindset. But at the same time, part of my mind is they haven't done it up to now, and I still don't see them doing it. Why? Because unless they make it so you have to install every fucking game, there's no purpose. Unless you literally are planning to go all digital anyway, and buy all this DLC and all that shit. So, point number 5 here. Stronger than the PS4 and Xbox One. I've already touched on this. NX home console, not handheld, because that would not be stronger than PS4 and Xbox One, would of course be stronger than fucking PS4 and Xbox One. Why? Because let's say it comes out in 2017. It would have came out, 3 years? Is that 3 years? 14, 15, was it 2013? That'd be about, 4 years now, right? 13 to 14, 14 to 15, 15 to 6. Yeah, that'd be 7 years after PS4, or 7. 4 years after PS4 and Xbox One. No shit that it would be using 3 to 4 year newer technology in it. So no shit, it would be, quote, stronger. Not that strong systems or specs should even matter to the consumer, to the gamer. If you're a developer, then that's where you care about specs to run your game. If you're a gamer, tell me, what the fuck does power do for you? You buy a system, granted, you can say, well, I can brag that I have the strongest console. Good fucking for you. You know, whoop de fucking do. Doesn't change how the fucking system works for you personally. It doesn't have any result whatsoever. And you're going to say, oh, well, the graphics, they're so amazing. Do we have to go down this road again? Must we go down this road again? Simply put, graphics don't matter. As long as the system is reasonably powerful in comparison to the other system, each of them can achieve the same fucking resolution as long as the developer actually tries, actually optimizes their game, actually puts effort into their work. So, stronger than PS4, Xbox One? Obviously it will be. But let's talk about something else involving power. People are always saying, I mean, not all people, but there are people who say the reason that the Wii U doesn't get third-party support is because it doesn't have the power of the PS4 and Xbox One. First of all, out of the three 8th gen consoles, which one has more 60 frames per second games? Oh, Wii U. And now I know what some people are going to say. But those games aren't demanding. Those games aren't, realistic. They're easy peasy games. And what does that say if this supposed weak Wii U can still run that flawlessly with two fucking screens going at once? Star Fox Zero, we're talking here, where both screen and TV or gamepad screen and TV screen are 60 frames per second, and the mighty PS4 and Xbox One don't. Sure, they have their occasional 60 frames per second game, but my point stands. PS4 ain't so fucking mighty. But anyway, back to the point I was trying to make. People say, "Oh, power Wii U doesn't have it. That's why it doesn't get third party." No, there might be the odd developer who doesn't get enough power for their game if they're trying to make a realistic game on their whatever platform of choice, and if they're like, "Oh, sorry, the Wii U just can't quite make it," that's understandable. But the main reason, very simple. Well, I mean, there's quite a number of reasons, to be honest. So let's go down a few of them real quick. First of all, the big issue, the architecture. PS4, Xbox One, somewhat similar to each other. Very easy to copy a game from being made on PC and port it to Xbox One and PS4. And yes, for some reason, they're still always buggy as shit. And with DLC and dislock content and day one patches and all that shit. But with NX, let's say, oh, it releases NX console or handheld or no home console, and it's stronger. Oh, Wii U's not Wii U. NX is fuck. I can't talk. I'm getting ahead of myself. It's like, oh my god, NX is gonna get all third-party support now. No, it doesn't work that way. Are you I can't even speak. Are you loony? That doesn't work that way. Because unless the NX home console has similar architecture, which how could it if it's using 3 to 4 year newer technology? How could it change anything? Oh no, it's stronger, but it's still a different architecture to PS4, Xbox One. It changes nothing. The developers, the third party, would still not want to learn how to code and program and develop on a different architecture. It's that simple. Sure, some might, but not all. If you think fucking Ubisoft or Konami, well, not Konami, they're kind of ditching everyone. I don't know, Namco, EA, everyone is all like, oh, it's so strong, but they're like, wait a minute, this isn't the same. If you think they're gonna just fucking say, well, let's learn it now, no, they're not. It's not that simple. It's just not. Because third parties are lazy. They want to do as little work as possible with the most money as possible. Now, this isn't true for all, but I bet there's some third parties out there that are literally, like, basically scam artists. They're like, we know people will pre-order our game as soon as we announce it. We won't even give a release date, but they know They just know, like Bethesda with fucking Fallout 4. Oh, people are gonna pre-order that shit day one, limited editions, pre-order that shit day one, and like a year in advance. Why? Because they're fucking morons, really. Now, I'm not bashing their choice on game, but it's like the scammers here, the Bethesda in this case, in my example, and it's not necessarily for I single them out, but this is just for example purposes. Um, they're gonna release their game no matter what, even if it's like Skyrim, where they said, "Oh, we knew there was issues and glitches and bugs, but we released it anyway because we can do a patch later." But you see, the problem is that these third parties are so lazy that they'll release a buggy, glitchy, fucking broken game because they know people will still buy it day one, forking over their money for a game not finished because, oh, well, we can, patch it later. And then, not only that, but these third parties will scam you into buying content that they ripped out of their own game and sold as dislocked content. I mean DLC. So my point is, these third parties, you think they're just going to jump on board Nintendo? Nintendo hasn't had full third-party support since the Super Nintendo. And you think that's going to change anything? You think suddenly, oh, they're coming back. Come on back. It's the fucking, second coming of the video game Jesus. All third parties in Nintendo are singing Kumbaya around a fire and they're all holding hands and being fucking happy. Not fucking going to happen. Not to mention there's a bias in the industry by a lot of developers. Whether some want them to just disappear, whether some want Nintendo to go third party, whatever. And then there's third parties companies like Rockstar or Bethesda who simply just choose not to want to put their games on Nintendo platforms because they know that the Nintendo fan base doesn't care for their games for the most part. There's probably the odd fan that does. But another issue is, or between the whole third party and Nintendo thing, not necessarily more Nintendo, but more than the Nintendo fan base versus third parties, is how many times third parties have burned the Nintendo fans. Look at Warner Bros. With Arkham Origins. $60 still for the full price of the game, but oh, we took out the multiplayer because you don't need that, Nintendo fans. We're gonna rip out half the game, even though it was a crappy multiplayer mode, but we still expect you to fork over the same money. You know. Then there's like Assassin's Creed games and COD games that never got the DLC on the Wii U and whatnot. Why? Oh, because Nintendo fans don't buy that, or whatever. So you expect third parties to jump back on Nintendo when there's nothing in it for them? They know that for the most part, they won't make that much money from the Nintendo fans because they burned the connection. They severed the bond long ago between Nintendo fan and third party. That's just a fact. Granted, there are some Nintendo fans out there who are like, oh, I would love to have Assassin's Creed. If Don't get me wrong, if third parties came to Nintendo and actually put in effort, I wouldn't be against that. I would be like, holy fuck, I didn't expect this. This is a fucking miracle. But I don't, because I'm not delusional. The chances of that happening are like the chances that, I don't know, what's the word? Uh, that Phil Spencer is after Kimishima as the next Nintendo president. Like, it's not gonna fucking happen. It's just not. Not to mention, let's say NX does get some third-party support when it launches. Oh, and I should have mentioned this before. Technically, when the NX home console launches, it'll be a ninth gen console. Just pointing that out there, the only ninth gen console until 4 years later when the next Xbox or whatever launches and everything. But let's say the NX home console gets a few third-party support, right? Third-party games here and there, maybe Assassin's Creed or maybe the FIFA or something. I don't know. But what does that really change? The NX would be starting with a zero user base, like all consoles do. You think halfway through, roughly, by the time NX comes out, well, yeah, about halfway through the lifespan of PS4, Xbox One, that the NX is going to somehow be able to catch up to the PS4 and Xbox One in sales? No. You're just going to say, oh, well, we just shovel that under the rug. That doesn't count. The NX is their true console of this generation. And you think somehow it'll catch up to 25? Actually, by the time NX home console comes out, PS4 will probably be like 30 million or something like that. You really think that that's going to fucking get caught up to? Really? Why would anyone buy the Nintendo NX even if they said, hey, they actually have third-party support now? They would already have a PS4 and or Xbox One and or PC to buy these third-party games on. What motivation would it be to say, oh, this NX, it has third-party support now? Little late to the party. Little late to the party. Maybe if there was third-party exclusives, that's a different story. But either way, I feel like I've gone on way too long on that point of third-party support. There's so many issues. It's not about power. It's not just about power. Some companies, like I said, just don't choose not to do business with Nintendo. Simple as that. Some would maybe say it's power because, they want to do a realistic game. And then most of them are just lazy. They know they won't get their money. They don't optimize their game. They know that they can't sell you DLC because you won't buy it, and then because they won't even give it to you anyway. And it's just not worth their investment. So they're both lazy, stupid, and yet still smart enough to know that it's not worth their time. Oh, that was a lot of talking. I had to have a sip of water there. Let's move on to the next point. Point number 4 on this Mojo video was amazing console launch. Well, not much to say here. Don't get me wrong, I would love for there to be an amazing console launch. Now, what defines an amazing console launch? That's basically anyone's opinion. Everyone's would differ a bit. I mean, you could say, oh, well, 10 amazing first-party exclusives at launch and, like, multi-plat games and all that shit, third-party multi-plats. That's, to those people, I would say you're living in a fucking dream world. Have a nice dream. Nighty-night. But, realistically, and also in the Mojo video, they were also saying, like, the NES had Mario Bros, Super Nintendo had Mario World, N64 had Mario 64. I was like, wow, yep, one game. I mean, sure, they're absolutely brilliant games, but it's like, yep, one game definitely makes a great launch. I was saying that sarcastically, by the way. But my point is, for me, realistically, what would constitute a good launch? Because let's face it, no console really has a, oh my fucking god, amazing launch. They just don't. You got a few games. You got, like, a few multiplats, and then, whatever. For me, if the Nintendo NX, whether it's handheld or home console, if it had 2, maybe 3 AAA, quote, Nintendo first-party games, whether that was a Mario, not a Zelda, don't expect a fucking Zelda at launch. Highly, highly doubt that. A Mario game, like a 3D one. If it had a, like a Kirby game, or maybe even a Pokemon game, and I don't know, some other small title that's exclusive, like Punch-Out or something, I don't know. And then a few little multiplats. That would be a fucking miracle. That would be considered at least a good launch. So, I don't know. We do know, because Miyamoto said before, that something along the lines of the next time you see the main, or Mario in a main Mario game, will be on the next console, he'll be waiting for you. So, I think it's pretty safe to say the Nintendo NX home console, not handheld necessarily, could be both, but the next home console from Nintendo will have a Mario game, probably a 3D one, at launch. That's just probably a safe bet. Let's see here. Point number 3, third-party support. Did I not just talk about that? I thought I did, or did I skip a step? Maybe I skipped saying amazing console launch. But either way, they go on about third-party support, and I was saying how... Oh, I know what I was going to say about this that I forgot to say before. I was going to say, like how I said, Nintendo hasn't had full third-party support since the Super Nintendo. Realistically, if Nintendo is to get third-party support of any kind, you know what they have to do, right? They have to fork over bags of money to these developers. Because that's the only way they're going to be like, well, at least we made some money from the Nintendo side of this business. Because they know they're not going to get it from the fans because they've burned the fucking trust of the fan and they have themselves to fucking blame. So, as for third party, once again, it's a harsh truth to accept, but for me, don't count on Nintendo ever getting full third party support unless suddenly Nintendo's like, hey, we're just going to fucking buy all these companies. We're buying Ubisoft out. We're buying Square Enix out. We're buying EA out. All that shit. Never going to fucking happen, but... Or if Sony or Microsoft left the gaming industry and then there was only Nintendo and one of the other ones left. Because then if you want multiplats, well, you basically have to go Nintendo then. I mean, you could go PC and Sony or whatever, but that'd be kind of weird. So anyway, point number 2. New IPs. Sigh, 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 sigh. Facepalm, facepalm, facepalm. How many times over the years Have we heard of, can we have new IPs, Nintendo? Yet so many times, I hate, this keeps bringing back to third parties here, but whatever. Yet people buy Xbox Ones, PS4s for Halos, for CODs, for Assassin's Creeds, for, all of these things that have been played and played and played and played. Whether they're good games or not, that's opinion based. But my point is, you all bitch at Nintendo for new exclusives or new IPs, and you never see many people bitch about Sony making new IPs. Sure, they made one or two here and there, like Last of Us and whatnot, and Microsoft people were complaining and saying, begging them, and they did make a few, like Titanfall, which was Titanfall or Titanfall, and there was something else, Quantum Break, I guess that's not out yet, and there was like Crimson Dragon or something. I forget whatever happened to that, but point is, people are always saying that they want new IPs, but then at the same time, you're pre-ordering and buying the same franchises you've played for the past 15 or so years. I'm not saying you have to pick one or the other, but I'm just saying you're kind of being a bit of a hypocrite. You're telling people you want one thing, yet you're doing the complete opposite with your money. Now, granted, it's probably because the only thing you can buy is the ones that keep being made, but because the new IPs aren't necessarily coming out. But companies like Sony, who's really hurting on money, isn't going to invest a whole lot of money making a whole lot of new IPs, because making a new IP is a risky move, which is why small indie developers do it all the time, because they don't have the big budgets. They don't spend $500 million on fucking investing in a game. Oh, and I forgot to mention this way back when talking about power and specs and whatever, that all these third-party companies that do focus on that, they're the ones driving up their own fucking development costs. With realistic games, big open worlds and everything, they're the ones making their games cost $500 million to make, including marketing and all that shit. And then what does it get them? Does it make them their money back? Maybe eventually. Granted, Destiny did make their money back in like a week or whatever, but that was overhyped beyond all imagination. Either way, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Uh, New IPs, back on that point, that's what we were talking about. Nintendo has made new IPs. Just because either you choose to say you don't like them or because you just flat out ignore them doesn't mean they're not there. Now, granted, the Mojo video does mention Splatoon, and that's true. It is a new IP. Ugh, sorry, I had to grab another drink of water there. Wearing my throat out here. Um, but there were others. There were others. Granted, not all were made by Nintendo. Like Wonderful 101, for example, was Platinum Games, but it's Wii U exclusive, so it technically counts. Bayonetta 2 could somewhat count. Now, one that I count, which for some reason some people don't, which is stupid, is Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Fucking lovable game, amazing game. Technically a new IP. Has there ever been a Toad video game before? No, there hasn't. Let alone a 3D one. If there was, it was probably a 2D one back in the day, but I don't believe there was. But my point is that Toad got his first game. Just because he's a character from a Mario or the Mario universe doesn't mean it's not a new IP. It's all different. It's a puzzle genre with Toad, Captain Toad that is, and it's not about saving Princess Peach. Granted, it's saving Toadette, but technically Captain Toad is a new IP. I would love, personally, if they made a, what do you call it? Captain Toad 2. But anyway, point is, Nintendo does make some new IPs, and I'm sure they'll make some more eventually. Now, before we get to their number one point, they have some honorable mentions that I wanted to go over. 4K. Oh my god. Right off the bat, 4K. That's 4,000 resolution. Why? Again, what does that do for the gamer? You can be like, oh my goodness, look how pretty that is. And I know people are going to say, like, my phone can do 4K. You know what the thing about phones is? Or if, people say, my phone is stronger than the Wii U or whatever. You know what? Your phone's probably stronger than the fucking PS4. Because phones, a console, when it's made, is meant to last 5-7 years. A phone is continuously evolving technology. Every year, hell, every 6 months, there's new fucking technology. It's always getting better and better. And with phones, people buy a phone, some people every fucking 6 months because they're fucking lunatics. And it's just because, oh, this one is a little shinier, there's no scratches, and, oh, it has the plastic over the screen. Oh, it's orgasmic, it's a new one, I gotta have it. It's shiny. Or, like, oh, the camera on it is 2 megapixels better. Woo! Mind blown. But to the people who say, like, oh, my phone can run 4K, and, it's stronger than the fucking Wii U or whatever, bravo. You can run 4K on your phone. You can play Unreal Engine 4 games, which, by the way, the Wii U can handle Unreal Engine 4. Just want to throw that out there. Um, but, point being, enjoy your 5-minute battery life. Ha 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 ha. So yeah, I mean, 4K on a console. Good luck with that. So, next thing in honorable mentions is achievements. And I know I've talked about this in the past. This is also opinion based. I mean, people could, say, "Oh, I love achievements." Some people could say, "I hate them." For me, I'm kind of neutral on them. I don't really care. I cared a bit for the only time I cared really was Halo on the 360. I tried to get them all, or the Batman games, but with PS4 trophies, I still call them achievements for some reason. I don't give a shit. I don't go out of my way to get them. I don't see the point. Nintendo is supposed to be, they're Japanese. They're supposed to be about honor. When achievements are bragging rights, they're just a pat on the back. And if you need a virtual pat on the back because you beat a boss in half the time it should normally take you, well, maybe you have a mental problem. Maybe you have issues and you are insecure, and you're like, oh, I need to be patted on the back every 2 seconds because I did something. I don't need that. I just don't. If they had achievements, fine, whatever. I don't care. That doesn't affect me. That doesn't make me more likely to get a console or less likely to get a console. That's just a feature that I'd be like, whatever. Um, so I don't think that they need it, but if they have it, whatever. Blu-ray and multimedia support. Have we learned nothing? Do you remember the Xbox One's launch? Where it's a fucking multimedia system. Woo, TV, TV, TV. Does the Nintendo side of things need to have this? No. It's the video game industry, not the entertainment industry, not the DVD industry, the movie industry, the CD, the song industry, whatever, music industry, that's the word. Even Iwata said before, everyone has a DVD player. Why do you need another one? Just to raise the system by another $50 or $100? Why? Why? Doesn't need to happen. Xbox One had a miserable start because of all that DRM shit and multimedia focus. You need a game system that you buy a game, put the game in, sit on your ass, play the game. That's it. Now, I'm not saying you can't have, features like Netflix or the internet browser. That's fine. But fucking Blu-ray and multimedia support? Why? Why? No, thank you. Their next point was no more region lock. And this is a big issue for a lot of people. For me, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't care for region lock. I don't hate it. I don't like it. I'm neutral. It doesn't bother me. For the most part, I support region lock because it just, I don't know, it's selfish to say, but it keeps games I don't care for off the shelf so I don't have to see them. Not to say other people would like them, or, wouldn't like them, but for me, I'm just like, it hasn't really affected me to the point. Granted, I mean, Fatal Frame-ish, it kind of did. I mean, we got it, but it's digital only, so I'm not getting it now, which is kind of like, ugh, but whatever. Um, Bigger Virtual Console library is their last honorable mention, and I agree. That's another thing, finally, we're somewhere on the list where I can agree with something again. I'm fully supportive of having a bigger Virtual Console library, because Nintendo has a habit of saying, we're going to have a great back catalog of Virtual Console games. And then look at the 3DS now. Not amazing, and Nintendo's already starting to stop it. They've already said, yeah, we're pretty much done, which again hints at what I've been saying. The NX handheld should be coming along soon, probably next year, and the NX Home Console 2017. Um, and then they'll continue the Virtual Console on the NX handheld. But anyway, I agree. A bigger virtual, what do you call it? I can't remember. The virtual catalog, virtual library, or whatever, should be bigger. You can't go wrong with that. Virtual console, that's the word. Now, their last thing here on their list, better online ecosystem. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's get one thing straight. The Wii U's online isn't bad. No. Is it, perfect? Because I think what people really have an issue with is not the online itself, but the features that are missing from having an online network. Mainly meaning party chat. Party chat is what is needed with NX. It just has to be there. But whether it will or not, who knows? It's Nintendo. So, I don't know. In the video, they were talking about how the eShop is so clunky and needs a revamp, and it's not easy to find things, which I thought they were fucking crazy. I have nothing negative to say about the eShop, both on the 3DS or the Wii U. I see nothing wrong with it, to be brutally honest. But basically, I guess they just want the NX to be a PS4 or Xbox One after reading all of this shit. So, again, better online ecosystem. Is there room for improvement? Oh yeah, sure. Dedicated servers for certain games would be nice. Uh, Party chat is the main feature to make their online different. Now, if these guys are saying they want Nintendo to charge you $50 a year for online like PlayStation, or $60 a year for Xbox, or like Xbox, or did they lower it down to 50 on Xbox? I can't remember. Either way, if Nintendo takes that route where you have to pay like $50 a year for online, no fucking thank you. No fucking thank you. Stick with PC then, which is still going to be the only free one left. So those are the 10 points from that Mojo video. But we're not done talking just yet. Oh no. No, no, no. I was going to read some YouTube comments I had read in the section, or in the comments of that video, that kind of caught my eye, and just kind of go over some of them. So one of them was, this guy was saying, these should be the launch games for the NX. Mario Galaxy 3, or a new main Mario game, first of all, while Miyamoto did say something like he would like to make a Galaxy 3, I highly, highly doubt that is ever going to happen. Not to mention that Miyamoto just said they're finally ready to take Mario in a new direction, which Galaxy 3, not really a new direction. That's going back 2 generations by the time NX comes out. But new main Mario game, like I said before, Miyamoto already hinted that Mario will be waiting at the next console, so that's probably going to happen. Metroid Prime 4. First of all, technically, Prime really has nowhere to go, the story-wise, because it finished up in 3. But I wouldn't be opposed to, a Prime-style game, first-person style. But I still am a firm believer. I don't care what people say. People are going to bring up Tanabe, or however you pronounce his name, the producer of Metroid, or Metroid Prime and all that, talking about how, oh, he said that, he doesn't know what Retro is doing, but no one's doing a Metroid Prime right now, blah, blah. I still believe Retro Studios is currently working on Metroid Wii U, and it'll be out next year. I could be wrong. Happens once in a blue moon, but I feel like that. Too many signs are pointing towards that. Zelda U. I hate going over this, I really do, because Zelda U is going to be on Wii U only. It would be utterly ridiculous to do it on both. I mean, if they really wanted to, they could make it just NX only. Then people would be motivated to buy it at launch or something. But then that'd be a fucking middle finger and a bitch slap to Nintendo fans who got the Wii U. Because let's be honest, most Nintendo fans, when they saw that Zelda tech demo, they're like, oh, getting a Wii U. And people got a Wii U for Zelda Wii U. Now, if you just port the game to both NX and Wii U, what's the point? The game has been built from the ground up since there was a Wii U prototype, with the gamepad in mind. Now, unless the NX home console can use the gamepad, then what's the fucking point? I feel like Unlike going with Twilight Princess, which the GameCube or the Wii version had motion controls, so it was an improvement, I feel like the NX version would be a downgrade from the Wii U version. Could be wrong, but that's my feeling. So, and not to mention, every home console from Nintendo has had an exclusive Zelda game. Zelda U is the exclusive Zelda game. It's just gonna happen. Splatoon 2, he wanted. And again, I can see that happening at some point. I have nothing else against it, nothing to say. F Zero, yeah, we all know how everyone feels about that. He says something Pokemon related, like a stadium or Coliseum, I guess, or maybe even a Snap, which is still a huge missed opportunity from Nintendo. Pokemon Snap U would have been big. Um, and a new IP. So he wanted Mario Galaxy 3, or a new main Mario game, Metroid Prime 4, Zelda U, Splatoon 2, F Zero, something Pokemon, and a new IP, all as launch titles. Are you in a dream world, sir? Because, well, no, that's a rhetorical question. Yes, you are. Um, this guy's comment was Mojo's list sounds like they want Nintendo to make a PS4 or Xbox One. That's my thoughts exactly. And then this other comment here was he says the reason for no ports on the Wii U is not the hardware is behind, but the game engine is not the same as the one the PS4 and Xbox One use. Uh, he doesn't know what he's babbling about, or he just said the wrong word, because the word he's looking for is different architecture from the PS4 and Xbox One. Because it's not a game engine is not dictated to one console or dedicated to one game console. It doesn't work that way. Game engines are scalable. Take Unreal Engine 4. I'm working with it myself. It works with PS4. It works with Xbox One. It works with Wii U. It works on PS3, 360. Not as easily. Last gen systems. Hell, it works on fucking phones. It works on PC, of course. Point is, all game engines are scalable. If one console has more beef in it, more power, more raw, oomph, then yeah, you can use more assets from the Unreal Engine or the Unity engine or Frostbite engine or whatever engine you're using. But if it's a little weaker, then you got to make a little decisions here. You got to be like, oh, a little bit less render distance, a little less lighting. What's the word? Dynamic lighting was the word I was looking for before, and all that shit. But point is, a game engine is not the reason for lack of ports. Because even the Unreal Engine team was like, oh yeah, Wii U can handle it, but just no one's used it yet. So, whatever. Um, yeah, that was the last comment that I had taken note of. So, I feel like there was still some other stuff I wanted to say about this whole NX thing. So I guess I should go over some quick thoughts on what I feel um, Nintendo, quote, should do with the NX. Like, I agreed with the other points. I think the Virtual Console should be a bigger library. I think that they should definitely, and I can't see them not doing this, but ditch the Wii name completely. Um, but other than that, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, besides Party Chat, also, I don't want them to go the route of being, chasing after the consumers, because, or the casual consumers, because you're just never. That's like trying to catch the golden snitch in Harry Potter. It's, unpredictable zigzags, lefts, right, ups, downs. You never know which way they're going to go, and you're just grasping at them continuously, hoping to get it. Which actually reminds me of a point I forgot to mention before when talking about consumers wanting power in a console. Um, and my point was this, or it was more of a metaphor or an example, really, was why do you want power so much in a console when, you know, a console could have the most power it could possibly have, absolute top of the line technology. But as soon as it comes out, within a year, it's already outdated. Don't you see? Consoles are not like PC, and I hate to compare with PCs, but PCs, every year, whatnot, you can buy a new thing and update it and continuously follow along and, go along. Consoles aren't like that. You buy a console, and for that time, yeah, it's top of the line console wise. But if you're going to say you care about power so much, unless we start getting yearly consoles, which is going to have no development time at all, and you're never going to have big libraries, Don't you see the truth that every time you get a console, you're like, yes, I got a powerful console. I got the PS4. Well, newsflash, it's outdated already. But don't you see that every time, like, you see a console coming out in the future and it's like, oh, it's top of the line, it's super powerful, your hand is wrapping around it, and then it comes out, you grab it, it's in your hand, and then, or it's just about to be in your hand, and then, whoop, it takes off like the speed of light and it leaves you in the dust again. You will never, ever have a powerful console that is continuous. It just isn't possible unless technology stops being improved upon and being made. So people who always think power is so important, I got the most powerful thing. Good job. You got a console that's super strong for the next 6 months. Bravo. Bravo. Go brag to someone who fucking cares. Now I'm not saying people should make weak consoles. No. I'm just saying, like I always say, power doesn't matter, especially to the consumer. It doesn't affect your game. It doesn't change anything. If you're a developer or, publisher, then you can say, oh yeah, it has, use. But to a consumer, no. You see a system you like, you see a game you like, you buy it, you play it. It's that simple. But back on point to what I was talking about with what I want with the NX. Now, and this is hard to say, because it's like, I did that video with Iwata passing, and I was like, I'm buying the system just for him, and I was bawling my eyes out, and then Nintendo pissed me off with that Star Fox thing, and all those other bullshit things added up, and I was like, I'm done with Nintendo, and I'm still semi-retired, basically, from gaming, period. But for me, my personal opinion for NX, like I said, party chat, I don't want them to do stupid shit. And that's a very broad, general statement to make that doesn't really help you figure out what I want from them. But I just want things that are not stupid. I just want business decisions that make sense, that listen to the fans, if the fans still support them that much, and just work with the fans instead of working against them. Because, like I said in another video, the name Wii U really comes down to we versus you. We being Nintendo, you being the fans. It was a struggle. So, I don't know. And I've seen a lot of people also, I should say, trying to guess what the NX stands for. Let me clarify that right now. Probably doesn't stand for anything. It's a code name. It's codenamed NX. If we look back, every console has a code name. The GameCube, for example, was the Dolphin. The Wii was the Revolution. The Wii U was Project Cafe. Point is, NX is not going to be the name, at least unless Nintendo wants to be a fucking bonehead and just like, yeah, we couldn't think up a name, or we'll call it the new NX, which would be just, I would shake my head and just fucking bang my head into a wall. But point is, NX is almost guaranteed not to be the name. It's just a code name that they use so they don't have to reveal the name now. Maybe they don't even have an actual name for it now. Who knows? But the point is, NX is not going to be the name, almost guaranteed. Is there anything else I want to say on this whole NX thing? I don't know. I don't really want to talk about the whole thing with, dev kits being sent out, whatever, bravo for those people. Do I want to use one? Not really. Not really. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the NX. We'll probably see it at E3. Well, I mean, it's pretty much guaranteed we will. I'm still thinking the NX handheld will come next year. Oh, one other thing. I was seeing someone was saying that Pikmin 4 could get pushed to being on the NX. I hardly think so. Highly think so, in fact. Or highly don't think so, I should say. Let me correct that. Because, simply put, remember before Iwata passed away, Miyamoto was saying that he isn't involved with the NX. He's busy focused with Wii U projects. And now, it's pretty common knowledge, obviously Miyamoto is heavily involved with Pikmin 4. So, let's say he suddenly changed his mind. And he also said that Pikmin 4 was nearing completion, which was quite shocking. But let's say it was nearing completion, and suddenly he's like, hey, let's push it to the NX. A console I haven't even really worked on. See the problem there? Doesn't seem likely, does it? Now, granted, that doesn't mean they couldn't get a different company to port it, I guess, but I don't know. Miyamoto-wise, I don't see Pikmin 4 being on the NX. I see Pikmin 4, Zelda U, um, and Metroid U being the last big three titles next year for Wii U, and then in 2017, if there's even one thing, uh, one main big title left before the home console, the NX home console, and then the Wii U will be dead, and they'll move on, and life will continue to be as miserable as always. Anyway, I feel like this has been a fucking hour-long discussion video. There's probably other stuff that I had originally thought before I did this video I wanted to say, but oh well. I feel like I said a lot. Hopefully I didn't overwhelm you. Hopefully, uh, you enjoyed the video. Hopefully maybe some of you agreed with some of the things I said and disagreed with some. Maybe some of you agreed with all of it. Maybe some of you disagreed with all of it. I think those people would be crazy, but whatever. So, finally done my first main video since I, you know, had been kind of absent-ish from OBA game or not OBA games, original Blood Ace. So, and I'm still recovering, like I said, but I think it's safe to say with this video, um, original Blood Ace is going to be kind of getting back to on track now. There's other videos I need to do stuff on at some point. When, as I always say, stay tuned. More videos coming soon as always. So, well, I just said it. I don't need to duplicate the fucking outro. So we'll see you in the next video, as always.